Well, that's Leah Black's argument. Leah Black's argument is Bethenny is, I mean, read the article from Leah Black. She's like, you know, and her husband is Roy Black, one of the most famous criminal defense attorneys out there. Again, as I told Leah on my podcast, if I get in trouble, I'm calling Roy Black. But Leah's argument is Bethenny is rich. She made money. If this falls apart, Bethenny will be just fine. These other people, not so much. So, you know, you know, Catherine Dennis, I'm just choosing her like as someone who possibly could join this. She was kicked out by Southern Charm after building the house. I'm sure she's, you know, someone like that. When this falls apart and you're now outspoken and you're on the like, wow list. I mean, Catherine doesn't have money. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's easy for Bethenny to fight this fight when the whole thing falls apart. You know, are these people going to be blacklisted? I don't know, but this is the fear. This is the fear that is out there.
Well, look, I mean, you know,
and then I have to talk.
You gotta take risks to get big rewards. You know, my fear is Bethenny is right about the union, but is she the person to carry it? Is she the person that can make deals, motivate, get people, you know, on board that like a Candy? You know, you've got to be a diplomat. You've got to be reaching out across it. You've got to have that politician in you.
You know what
part is I just don't think she does. I think this is a lot about Bethenny. And I'm beginning to, after I read that article about Geragos with the LA Times and the Kesha Dr. Luke case, I'm like, ugh, is he the lawyer to do it? And, you know, that's sad because you get one shot at this really. And
well, the strike expert, Rachel Yucatel also said, you know, he's mostly, you refer to Kesha, he's mostly a criminal lawyer. So in a way, what is he doing here? No offense to him. I would love to sit down and talk to him, but right, this isn't like a criminal matter. So, you know what I found interesting though is, and Jeff, I think Lewis talked about this on his show. I didn't listen, but apparently everyone is saying, I mean, from multiple sources. So Caroline Manzo was on Jeff Lewis's show when Jeff was in New York, and she showed up to be on the show, and waiting for her when she showed up was somebody. You know who's waiting for her?
Who?
Andy Cohen.
Okay.
And apparently this is on Jeff's show. Apparently Andy then took Caroline outside and they had a talk. And apparently them not listening to Jeff's show. No offense to him. I just don't have time. And then apparently Jeff had to be like, well, this is strange. Our guest Caroline is outside with the boss man. So I don't know. Is that Andy like saying, you know, you need to keep your big mouth shut about girls trip? Is it Andy saying like, you don't return my calls? Like, I know that you're suing us and I really hope that this works out between us. Is that Andy saying like, you know, you're not to talk about Bethenny's strike? Is that Andy saying in his mind, I'm fucking scared because I'm the target of Bethenny's strike and I need to just do damage control? I literally don't know, but I'm sorry. When Andy Cohen shows up at Sirius Radio before, and I think Andy was even there. I think someone told me like, because they listened like while they talked about it on air, like Jeff's like, what were you doing outside with Andy? And I think he was there. And I think on the air said like, we would love you back, or we're sorry, you know, you want someone, whatever. It wasn't contentious, but what is Andy Cohen doing at Sirius Radio to talk to Caroline before she goes on Jeff Lewis's show? Can you please tell me that? It's a real question. Very strange, right?
Yeah, that is a little strange. That's a little strange.
I mean, so I don't know. And I mean, apparently if you find this episode of Jeff's show is posted, so I don't think it's even like, I thought this was some big secret, but apparently everyone knows about it. So that's a little weird, but it's not the norm. It's not every day. He's not showing up to, you know, talk to Jackie Goldschneider before she does her book signing at, you know, Bookends in Ridgewood, New Jersey. You're welcome, Jackie. I just gave you a shout out. You have a book signing coming up.
Shout out.
I'll skip that one, I think. I mean, no offense to Jackie, but you know, she'll be there with Marge and all those people. What was I gonna say? So that's kind of interesting.
Wait, well, that leads us into, I mean, what you I mean, is there anything else to cover with Bethenny? Again, I think this is to be determined. I guess now I feel like I don't know if this really is about the bigger picture for Bethenny, or is this about a settlement? Because to your point, Geragos is more about criminal, and Geragos, you know, he's got to be making money, right? So there's.
You think she just wants, she smells money on the back. Here's the thing that nobody,
you know, yeah. Maybe they do. Maybe there's like a settlement and then
Well, let me just explain what's happening here, everybody. Like, because someone said the other day, why is New York? Why is Bravo? I think I said something like Bravo is so thrilled with the RHONY reboot. We had 700,000 people watch the old show. It was canceled. Now we have a new show. The last I checked, there was 400,000 people. Well, at best, we have 6 women that are paid $60,000. 6 times 6 is $360,000 in salaries. Compare that to Luann, $1 million. I mean, rounding up, guys. Sonia, $1 million, rounding up maybe a little more. Ramona, $1 million. That's $3 million. Leah was at 200,000, 3.2. Ebony got 60. 3.3, let's call it. So we have $3.3 million in salaries at 700,000 of viewers. And now we have 400,000 of like $360,000. We saved almost $3 million in salaries on RHONY. So this low-rated reboot, where we're talking about cheese and fashion, and there's no drama, and there's no racism, and there's no bots, and there's no family feuds and private investigators. This is a huge hit in Bravo's mind. It is a cheap ass show to put on. And we're fighting about cheese and Hamptons and outfits and designers and darling, I don't wear Louis Vuitton after Labor Day. And this is just what Bravo wants. So this is a huge salary. And the $3 million they're saving in Luann and Sonia and all that is going elsewhere, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I've said, I love this new RHONY reboot. I might be the only one, but I'm a loyal 400,000, viewer. I love it. I love it. I love the fashion. The women do look great. I do think, Andy had said in an interview months ago that all of these women have lots of layers. And I think they do. I'm loving finding out about their different childhoods and backgrounds. And, Jenna never got along with her mom and Bryn. And, it's really, I think it's quite good. I think it's quite good.
And Aaron Leachy is kind of emerging as like the star of the show, I feel. Like, not for me, just for like taking the temperature of the room. Now, I am not going to share. I have my own personal feelings about how we got there, if she is, and why. I am not going to share my thoughts on why. But if you look at the temperature of the room, everyone, like, there's this sense that like Aaron's the breakout. And I have my own feelings as to why, but I will not be sharing them here behind the velvet rope or on the Sarah Fraser show. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not getting myself into trouble here today, but I have my own feelings, better or worse. I just think, but that's what people seem to say. So I don't know. So you love, but what was my point? Oh, so this was my point. My point was, if we are going to give back end to Craig Conover and the cast of Southern Charm, if we're going to give back end to Summer House, if we're going to give back end, if this is really where we're going,